got that full moon over there. Yo, every time, every time. IG lets me go live one time and that's it. One time and that's it, man. For real. They're very strict with me. And I've been seeing other people post all types of craziness. Guess it's a wrap for that now. But just getting out the gym right now, about to waiting for my Uber to pull up, you feel me? But for real, climate has changed for real. You can't really be posting whatever you want. Like, it is very limited actually. So we gotta take our talent somewhere else. That's alright. That's alright. As long as you have talents, you know what I'm saying. You could take them anywhere. So don't get construed by saying like, oh, yo, you're mandated to do this, so you got to do it. Nah, you can take your talent somewhere else, just the way Kyrie did. He wasn't with that. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't with that. So Kyrie said, you know what, I'm gonna take my talent somewhere else. So same thing that I'm gonna do. Take my talent somewhere else. You don't want that live? I'm gonna give it somewhere else. No worries. It's whack though because like, oh my God, it's like I did not even do nothing. So you work to build up everything, but you can't let that like get too much over your head because that's just saying that I'm putting too much energy towards one thing, right? You can't have too many eggs in one basket because when you do that, then what happens? When that basket starts to when those eggs break or that basket falls, that's it. You lose all your eggs. So you want to have a few different baskets, ones that you know are good because then you can be like, all right, I know I can depend on this. That's the same thing when it comes to our health. We don't want to depend all our health on just CMOS, right? CMOS is dope, right? But you can't just depend on everything on just like, oh, just CMOS or just the colon cleanse or just sour sap, you know what I'm saying? Like, or just elderberry. There's many different herbs and there's many different fruits and there's many different ways to go about it, right? But generally speaking, we want to eat foods that are natural, foods that grow from the earth. We want to stay away from factory farm things that are anything that's in a factory farm, even if it's natural, right? Eating meat is not necessarily unnatural, but the meat that comes from a factory farm, that's what makes it unnatural and makes it, uh, harmful to the body. The fact that the animals are fed a lot of chemicals in order to keep them basically alive because they're living in really poor conditions, right? And not only to keep them alive, but to keep them fatter, growing faster and quicker, to become more profitable. If you know that every chicken that you buy in the United States has been injected with salt water, that's what that does is make the chicken 20% heavier. So if you're making, and when you sell meat, if you didn't know, it goes by the weight, right? It's not about the amount because you have like let's say you have 10 different chickens and they weigh each a pound, you're only gonna get $10. I mean, not $10. You're gonna get the price per pound, not per chicken. So if you got the same 10 chickens and they weigh 5 pounds, you know what I'm saying? Boom, that's a lot. That's a big difference. So naturally, the chicken, for example, weighs less. So what they're doing is that they're putting artificial steroids, they're putting hormones in the chicken to grow faster, and then also after they're dead, pumping them up with salt water, which causes the chicken to have a longer lifetime, yes, but also it spikes the level of sodium in the body. So there's a when we eat these chickens that are store bought, unless you're growing it yourself, there's an extreme high level of sodium, unnatural sodium, right? That's inside the chicken, right? And again, this is for preservation and as well as for greed, because like there's a saying: if you wait to work while it's wet, you get extra G's, right? All right. If you don't know about that saying, I'm telling you right now. What that means is if you're weighing something, if you're selling something by its weight, and it's wet, it's gonna weigh more. Just like if this hoodie, this Dr. Mission hoodie, if this was going off of weight, if I was wet, it would weigh more, right? That makes sense. Everybody knows that. So when we consume these type of foods, or you're consuming a high amount of salt, it's causing us to retain more water, can retain more inflammation, which is causing high blood pressure, which is causing diabetes, which is causing cancer, right? Those are all connected. High blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, hypertension, inflammation, uh, all those common diseases are related due to high sodium and refined sugar levels. Now, it's not natural sodium. Natural sodium is natural salts or things that we need, but unnatural sodium, sodium that has been made in a lab to have other properties, right? Synthetic salt, basically synthetic salt, right? That's causing, that's going to allow different foods to have a longer preservation, to be preserved longer, which is going to extend the shelf life, which allows food to be sold longer, which extends the profitability. So it's all about profitability, but it's not. What's not being kept in mind is the health. Is this something healthy for the consumer? And the answer is no. An unnatural amount of sodium isn't healthy. A refined sugar isn't healthy as well either. So we got to keep in mind what we're putting into our body, right? If you look up, there's all this information too is also online and been published by scientific um, uh, by scientific studies. For example, Harvard published a study that the average, basically this was in 2000 and I believe 2010 or 2011, the average American consumed 67% of their diet. 67% of their diet was processed foods, right? So being that if we consume 67% of processed, and the 33% is basically, natural food, produce, everything like that, our body isn't going to have an understanding of what we're putting into our body. Therefore, we're going to have digestive issues. When we have those digestive issues, the body isn't going to understand how to eliminate those toxins out the body. All food that we eat becomes toxins, so but we're putting in toxins into our body already because the food is processed and junk already. So it's there's no nutrients in it. So when we're consuming, we want to eat more and more of the junk food because after a while it becomes addictive because of the sweet and the sensation that we're getting, but also because our body is looking for minerals, right? And the fact that it has little to no minerals, our body has to consume more of those foods, more of the junk foods in order to feel full, right? So when we're consuming foods, we have to keep in mind, is the food natural? Because if it's not natural, our body isn't going to understand how to eliminate it. If our body doesn't know how to eliminate it, when it gets into our body, it will not be easily, it will not be efficiently eliminated. When that happens, we have digestive issues. When we have digestive issues, it weakens our immune system. Our immune system becomes weakened because 80% of our immune system is also in our digestive system. Our digestive system, again, is our small and large intestines, kidneys, liver, um, blood as well, pancreas. There's all those. Basically, everything is affected though by our digestive system. It might not be part of our digestive system, but it is affected by it. Meaning that if we have a poor digestive system, then it can leak off into we can cause excess inflammation in our body and cause the lungs to retain excess water and start to have breathing issues as well, right? So our digestive system also affects our brain and how we think as well. The axis between our brain and our colon is like an axle, and this is one wheel and this is another wheel. If we have one wheel flat either side, it's going to affect the other side. Doesn't matter which one is flat. You won't be able to drive the car, right? And the in between is the axis, right? So we have to make sure that our digestive system is clean, right? In order to have a clean mind, to have clean thoughts, and have the positive thoughts and have proper thoughts too as well. Because a lot of times we might be having thoughts that are not proper because one, we don't have enough nutrients in our body. We might be a bit hungry. We don't have the right food in our body, and two, we don't have enough water into our body, and three, we're not digesting and eliminating that food properly. So all of those things can affect our mind, our mood, and our vibration. The higher our vibration is, right? We understand, we see the moon right here. The higher our vibration is, the easier that it will be to flow within the universe, right? The lower our vibration is, it's going to be like we're fighting against the universe and fighting against the universal flow that we are destined to go with, right? Right. So understanding where we fit in the universe and what our place is and what we're meant to eat and what we're meant to, what we're meant to do in our life too as individuals is all important, and that all all of it is going to be affected by what we eat. Now, of course, there's going to be some people who you see who can eat whatever and become successful, but that's not going to be you because everybody has a different everybody's at a different point in life. And the average person can't do that. The average person cannot be undisciplined and get far in life, right? We might see other people do it, but again, they might have other advantages, other privileges that allows them to do that. Me on the other hand, can't do that. We can't afford that, right? We have to make sure that everything is on point, everything is the best that we can do, right? We have to improve our life and make sure that each day that we're striving towards the best of ourselves, right? The best version of ourselves. Because without doing that, then we cannot expect anything um, beyond mediocre. If we're not doing our best or we're giving mediocre, we can only expect mediocre results, right? So we have to understand what is our best, right? And are you trying your hard, right? Are you trying your hardest? Are you doing your best? A year from now, your best is going to be different each day. So each and every day, you have to be pushing yourself. It's like working out, right? Eventually, you're working out, you're lifting the same 50 pounds, you're lifting the same 50 pounds, but after a while, after lifting that and you're getting comfortable with that weight, you have to push yourself to 55, 60, 70, right? Or you're just going to stay right there, right? You're going to stay lifting the 50, and you're not going to get stronger, and you're just going to maintain, and you're not going to get results because you're not pushing yourself and you're becoming comfortable, right? So sometimes it's scary though because you're like, shit. If I lift this, and it's too heavy. Am I gonna be able to lift it back up? Am I gonna get embarrassed at the gym? You know what I mean? You have to erase those thoughts out of our mind and know that when we pick up that goddamn weight, that it's gonna get lifted right back up. Now again, we have to make sure that we have done the practice and we do proper form and everything and everything that is aligned in terms of rules are done proper. But once those are aligned, we have to be able to make sure that we can take the next step, take it so that we can get further in life, right? So one thing it might be like, you might be thinking, oh, should I get the colon cleanse, right? When should I get the colon cleanse? When should I get the CMOS? If you haven't got one right now, I'm talking to all four of us that's watching this right now, me including, and everybody else three that's watching it right now, right? If you don't have it right now, a good idea is to get it right now, right? You can use coupon code Stay Woke, right? That's gonna give you 10% off right now, but you got to make sure that you use or that you invest at least $100. By doing that, by investing at least $100, and you're gonna get 10% off. Or no, actually, for my YouTube family, you can use YouTube Flex. So YouTube Flex, FLEX, one word Flex for 15% off. That's for my YouTube family. So just write that down. YouTube Flex. That's everybody who's watching the YouTube. You guys can get the 15% off, right? So again, what do we do this for, right? What do we do this for? I'm selling passion, and I'm selling. My passion is what I'm selling, right? You can't sell passion, but you can create. You can you can you can formulate that into you can itemize them, right? Right. You can't. I cannot put that passion in the bottle, right? But I can take the passion and create something, right? So we have to make sure that we're passionate about something. That passion is gonna make us. It's gonna drive us, right? We need to be passionate about our lives too, right? Because We need to be excited about our own lives and excited about living life, right? And if we're excited about living life, we're gonna take life by the horns and make it happen, right? We're not gonna be wasting time and doing things that might risk your life. Like so many times, I risked my life by, maybe the way that my driving practices, right? But once you get into an accident where you almost die, then it's gonna be like, oh shit, maybe I should stop doing that, right? And then you learn, right? But don't let you have to get into that accident as well. I already did it for you, right? Make sure that you're learning off of people, right? Don't be a hard-headed person where you have to learn it for somebody else, right? Like for Chadwick Boseman, he was only 33, he's in his 30s, and he died of colon cancer, right? So, and there's a lot of people who get diagnosed with colon cancer who are in their 20s. So you're never too young, you're never too old to get sick, and you're never too young or too old to take advantage of taking care of your own health, right? And I know it's a lot to change and a lot to embrace when it's something new. But again, you have to take the step. You have to take one step forward. When you take one step forward, you've benefited yourself for that day, right? You benefited yourself for that day. Now the next day is to improve what you did the last day. And you keep on working forward, 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 and now you're making improvements, right? Now you're learning. You're not staying stuck, right? Okay? You're not staying stuck. Stagnation is what? Stagnation is